chance that the winner of this match will match up against Inconceivable. So here we are into game number 1. It's Pioneers versus SEAL Team 6.
And I want to see who prioritizes the power-ups from the get-go, and it's going to be Stat Camo slammed straight in the chest for Brainstorm. So SEAL Team 6 have more of a starting strategy to focus on that camo. They feel it's important, they feel it could be the difference maker, so I want to see it put to use here.
That's really exciting here. We've talked about just what this open system... Ooh, look at the flank here, by the way, as we're going to just take a quick peek across and see exactly what play is going to be made here. Nice little kill from Old Grapple coming in from Brainstorm as he takes his time with that kill. Also sees some players coming pipes. Knows that he needs to be very careful and just stay alive now and maybe flank around pipes here a little bit. Unable to get the trade there.
So something I was mentioning earlier, the priority positions for me, A and B. But you can hold B and C at the same time. You can kind of lock the other team in towards elevator, in towards control. You just need to take slightly different angles, and everyone needs to be on the same wavelength. They need to be prepared to all shoot in the same direction when a call-out comes through. And this is one of the things that we're seeing now. Everyone's locked towards the elevator, but Talek can't afford to go down here, but at least he does get the trade.
Yeah, gonna be glad that he's able to get the trade. In the back of C, though, now with the sword out is Manny, and wisely going to play this one slowly. Takes a look around to see if anyone might be coming in from control, and there's multiple players on the screen. But actually, I was going to say, he gets back whack, goes down very quickly, and that's because Piles from SEAL Team 6 was coming around the back. We'll watch Eli Elite's back on the sneaky, and they will be able to convert there as well.
So what SEAL Team 6 have done very well there, as I say that, as actually C gets reset, was that they didn't try and just push out and try and focus B and leave themselves vulnerable to grenades and shots coming from every direction. Instead, they tried to all push together to take C off of Pioneers, but that actually fell into the hands of Pioneers because they all collapsed. The sword did make a slight difference. I thought Piles had done enough. He is still alive, but with that reset coming through, this is becoming more and more difficult for SEAL Team 6.
Piles just trying to hold this corner. Talek does hear the footsteps. Piles actually comes back, and a Bull True comes through, and you could tell by the velocity of that Spartan against the wall that the lunge was certainly underway by that point. Sword is going to stay out for Talek, but actually gets juked once again. That's going to be Eli Elite back C, so that battle for back C still going on, heavily contested.
So much pressure coming now from the Pioneers. They were pushing into C and they were pushing into A at the same time to stop SEAL Team 6 from getting any points on the board. Just the 1 point so far compared to the 110 that we've seen for Pioneers. So that does just scream how much control we've been seeing in the early stages, how much structure Pioneers have been able to find. Finally some points being scored now here by SEAL Team 6.
And finally, that sword going to go back into the hands of Manny, and one of the most heavily contested power weapons we've seen today in terms of our matches that have been on broadcast. It's some nice shots onto C-flat, onto Bohm as well, and Manny's going to be very comfortable just holding here at control, roaming around and looking at the angles he might need to support his team at B as well.
A lot of responsibility as the sword player. Usually you're going to be anchoring, usually you're going to be holding one of these strongholds on your own, and it's situations like this where you have to get at least one. It could have been a double, but now there's going to be the assist to come through. The teammates can get in that information, they can push in, and they can stop that capture. Even though SEAL Team 6 have got one of the more difficult strongholds in B right now, the way that Pioneers have been rotating and prioritizing their strongholds, it's still points going in favor of the other team.
Yeah, absolutely. They're finally now trying to get a little bit of A. Just as fast as they get A, though, B is going to get converted as well in just a moment. So it looks like there were going to be a few points on the board for them, and they will maintain control of B. They will start to score once again, but Gaskin, they've got a long road if they want to get back into this match.
And I feel like because of that, SEAL Team 6 are pushing for this triple cap. They're not allowing the possibility of, you know, just waiting, allowing Pioneers to spawn at C and then trying to hold just a 2-cap setup. Instead, they're saying, look, we're so far behind now, we have to be relentless with our pressure. We have to be constantly rotating and matching the pace of the Pioneers here. Big fight, which does not go in the way of Bohm, and that will mean the Pioneers will get A, and they're probably going to get C if no one is there to stop them.
Certainly a big battle. Anyone who's been playing enough Halo Infinite online knows just how important that one is. You can get players that are spawning. Sword comes back out for Manny. He will clean up that one as well, bottom middle. You know how just important that play is. There can be players spawning bottom elevator and a nice little jump up top as well with the repulsor to get right back into the mix over at C.
Switching out the sword for the Mangler, just finding every single weapon that can do a hell of a lot of damage close range. Really can help you hold a stronghold on your own. How many times will you see someone just holding elevator with a Mangler? Really can be the difference maker.
Yeah, it's a great point, and just how important that is, because how difficult it is, as we were just talking about with this elevator and this A angle, it can be so challenging to hold that. Players are spawning back elevator the second you step into control, the second you step out of turbine, you do open up that spawn. So having something like a mangler, like a sword, as we've seen time and time again, really can make the difference here. It will still be a sizable lead for the size of the Pioneers at this point.
Oh, what a play by Talek, though, getting the double kill and then forcing the rest of the team to all swarm and collapse on the rest of SEAL Team 6. They are so quick to push with one another. This is why Pioneers have been just so fantastic over the last 2 weeks. Their coordination as a unit is something everyone needs to be watching and everyone needs to be trying to adapt to, because if you can play this quickly as a team to react to callouts, you're going to find success.
Druk is going full acrobat here, eventually gets clipped by a nade, but some great grapples in and out of top A there to just win that battle pretty easily. Eventually gets caught by a nade from Turbine. Unlucky bounce on the stairs, but some great shots though coming from Piles on Manny as well. Still putting up as much of a fight as they can, but this score has gotten out of hand in favor of the Pioneers.
It's got to that point, hasn't it, where SEAL Team 6 need to almost play perfectly, and whilst we have seen some crazy comebacks already in the opening couple of weeks of Halo Infinite, you just feel with how Pioneers have been prioritizing their strongholds, this one's just going to be a little bit too much out of reach. But, and there always is a but, if SEAL Team 6 can consistently slay off spawn, force Pioneers into this off-spawn cycle they currently find themselves in, there is still a small chance.
There is a small chance. Eli Elite going to add to that small chance by getting a nice kill on the Camo Mauler player. It's a very nice play. He will lose the beatdown battle over at A, though, which will maintain A control for the side of the Pioneers. They have been in control of the scoreboard, also not just in the points category, but certainly in the slaying department as well, if you take a quick look at those numbers.
Yeah, +5 for Druk right now. He's been a real nuisance and a thorn in the side of SEAL Team 6. As soon as they think they're going to capture a stronghold, Druk is usually there or thereabouts to either stop them or kill them and then take it back off of them. But in this instance, at least he was stopped in his tracks, but he had help. He had a teammate there. There's that coordination that I was talking about. There's always two. There is never just one. Good grenades, though, from SEAL Team 6.
Yeah, it was good nades to nade them out just for a second. And they will get the reset. Very nice stop. Great timing on those grenades as well. So it will still be time on the board. And as Gaskin said, we can see if this one might go the distance and just how much SEAL Team 6 can hold on to this. They're right now scoring, and they need to make quite a run to get back into this game, but certainly enough time on the board to do so.
This is like a Matrix moment where the glasses come off and they're beginning to believe, because it's there. It's open for them. It's for the taking. They're starting to slay better now. They are stopping Pioneers from having easy transitions across the map, but you'd argue one good setup here for Pioneers now would be enough to win the game. But what SEAL Team 6 are doing well at is every time Pioneers try and prioritize one of these strongholds, SEAL Team 6 are reacting and all pushing together.
Yeah, Pioneers actually get a last-second reset. You might have noticed that off-screen on C, which is going to force SEAL Team 6 back in. They're actually multi-capping B and C right now, and as you pointed out, Gaskin earlier, Soul Snipe, though, sweeps in for the C reset. They might look to a few of those trip caps just to get back in this game just a little bit to try to even the gap and maybe even catch the side of Pioneers off of some spawn traps.
But this is the dangerous part for SEAL Team 6. Now they've lost a little bit of control. Pioneers were able to get 2 on the board. It's about how they react, but they have reacted well. It's not easy to take B here on recharge, but they're able to drop in, get some slays, big grenades coming out of them, and they still are slowly trickling up this scoreboard and getting closer and closer to a potential comeback.
AB hold, Eli Elite does well to stay alive and doubles back with the teammate. They might be able to take down both players. They do, and that's going to be 2 dead for the moment there. So a little bit of a 2v2. Look at that, though, across the map as we see both strongholds being converted once again.
Zipping across like the Spider-Man that Onset always wanted to be. A big double that really is going to make the difference to be able to control Turbine and get the triple cap and ensure that Pioneers can get this first map under control. A fantastic performance, shaky at times, but for the most part, I'd say they had control of that game.
They certainly did. It's a good finish, a strong and a clear one from the Pioneers. They'll take game number 1 with some crafty plays with the grapple and shock rifle as well to close it out. And despite the fact that we saw some late game runs coming in from SEAL Team 6, Pioneers not going to let that one happen. They stay cool and collected towards the end. They close it out 250 to 116 in our game 1 Strongholds recharge, and now all sights onto Live Fire Slayer next up.
I think what worries me here for SEAL Team 6 is the ability that we saw from the Pioneers to all transition together, to be pushing as a wolf pack, always in a 2, always holding hands, always having someone to push through. You can see it just the assists, the difference in assists between the two teams. And Pioneers were just always there, a helping hand. Communication you could tell was on point. I don't need a listening to tell me that their communication was on point. You could see it in their gameplay, Bravo.
And certainly when you look at the slays, as we said during the game, we'll take a look at some highlights right now, but if you look at the kills, they're not heavily outslayed in that game, but in the points category, they were handily outclassed. And it's interesting to see that you don't have that big of a delta in slays, Gaskin, but it really on the scoreboard came down to it. And that just tells you how much of the nuanced resets and prioritization and angles of the side of Pioneers, how important that was.
Yeah, it's efficiency. It's about playing the objective. How many times have you been playing matchmaking and you've outslayed the other team, but they actually beat you on the objective just because they prioritize a little bit better, they move as a unit, and they're finishing the one-shots. Survivability is something that's massive in Halo Infinite. It has been in Halo in general, but if you can get away as a one-shot and then force yourself into a fight with a teammate, suddenly your BR becomes so strong, so powerful, because they'll be prioritizing the fight they're already engaged with, and you suddenly get free shots where you wouldn't have earlier if you had actually died. So just really important to be able to get around that corner. That's where sprint comes into effect. Even though it's only a small advantage compared to actually just running normally, it really can make a huge difference, as I say. But great prioritization from Pioneers, even though there was a small window where SEAL Team 6 gained a little bit of control in that map. Pioneers did well to respond. They paused for a little bit, they took a breather, they didn't panic, and they regained control.
Absolutely, and credit to Pioneers for putting as many points as they did. This was a nice sequence from Druck as he's able to grapple all the way in from outside of A, grapple back up to top elevator, and pick up a pretty clean kill on the player in the stronghold. But like we said, it's a credit to the side of Pioneers. Clinical work from them, great baiting and switching. Also just really good, like we said, prioritization of everything they needed to do on the map.
So I think that Pioneers should be able to take this one, but I hope that SEAL Team 6 can respond, because you know me, I love a game 3.
As do I. We love a good game 3 here at the HCS. Pioneers, like you said, going to be playing this game type, we can assume pretty fast. They're going to be rolling around these corners, clearing out areas like back tower, like house, fast and together. Let's see how this one kicks off. Off break, is there going to be about a middle between 4 players right now.
And it's crazy, isn't it, really, just how important the heat wave is, that we saw 3 players sent from both teams to bottom middle there to battle for it. And this is why, because the heat wave, whether it be from close, whether it be from mid-range, whether it's long range, it can hit so hard and be the difference maker from not just one kill, but sometimes an entire team of 4 falling.
Certainly makes a huge difference as well. And one exciting thing, if you're just joining us, first of all, welcome to winners round 6 of the HCS Raleigh Kickoff Qualifier. Teams competing here ultimately on this 2-day event to try to get a guaranteed pools play spot in the upcoming sold-out Raleigh LAN to kick off the Halo Infinite LAN season. This match particularly a cool one that you're joining us for, just because you have a lot of names here that are in the up-and-coming category. A lot of them have established themselves. As we take a look at a battle here. Back tower! Piles actually gets the trade on Manny with the no-scope. That sniper will stay on the map, but as we were saying, these teams are here. A lot of up-and-coming players. There's a lot on the line here. When you look at the players in this match, as we're off to a little bit of an early lead here for SEAL Team 6 for just a second. Eli Ali, Piles. Look at names like Druck, Soul Snipe, Talik, Manny. There's a lot of names here who really want to establish a name for themselves in competitive Halo, move out of that up-and-comer category and into really that top 8 conversation.
Yeah, 19th seed at the moment, SEAL Team 6, and they just want to push themselves up a little bit further, maybe to try and compete for that 9th and 10th spot, to at least get funding, to be in the open bracket at Raleigh, get some travel paid for, you know, just be able to relax a little bit, kick your feet up, rather than have to fund everything yourself. As for the Pioneers, a victory here in this game would all but guarantee them at least in top 8 and allow them to move forward to Raleigh and pool play, but we'll be expecting them to get one of those guaranteed top 4 places with how they've been playing over the last 2 weeks. Top 4 week 1, 3rd place week number 2. Can they go one better and maybe even get to the grand finals this week here today? Because Talik is on a riot right now. He is just tearing through this team.
My God, putting on a clinic, and this is technical work from Talik. I mean, look at that play with the heat wave and the repulsor, being able to hold top tower, then just repulsor right back up, running everything at the back tower. There's a reason for that, and as we talked about, Pioneers probably haven't gotten the credit that they deserve in the scene. Right now, they're sitting in the 3rd seed overall in North America with just under 9,000 points. And keep in mind, just to give you an idea, if you haven't caught each broadcast just yet, they are right now outclassing E United, Sentinels, Inconceivable, G2, Space Station. There's many names that they are above right now, and they are making a statement and looking to be much more than even a top 8 name. You can say right now they're sitting top 3 and looking to make a statement in our last qualifier before Raleigh.
It really is difficult when they're kind of being outshadowed and outshone by Cloud9 and Optic Gaming, because they're always going to be the names that are on the tip of everyone's tongues. But I think we do need to be talking about this Pioneers roster and what a threat they could be to those top 2 with a little bit more practice. But in this game, it's pretty even so far. SEAL Team 6 have a very minimal lead, but that can change extremely quickly, whether it be down to a power-up or maybe even just a heat wave.
As we get towards that 25 kill mark here, taking a look at exactly what Eli Elite might be able to do, moving into back of house with that heat wave, deciding if he wants to go back into house or just hold top sandbags. Will instead engage from sandbags, but needs to be careful because players were ready to come around that corner from the B-side pillars.
Piles with 10 kills at the moment really has been the force of this SEAL Team 6 roster, and if he can carry on slaying the way he does, it's going to make it very difficult for Pioneers to regain any control. But Druck has found a sniper rifle, but he will give it away. Love that. Fantastic teammate.
Sharing really is caring here, Gaskin. That's what we're finding out in Halo Infinite. And a very close match here, just 25-24. It's a 1-kill game. Soul Snipe does have that sniper up on top middle. Just going to keep an eye on Ace Sandbags and see if he can rotate around. He does see players dropping on the other side. So going to take a risky play here, drop the pillars. Sniper was the one out first, but make sure to clean up the kill on Piles. Very well done, back tower. You do not want to keep players alive from the opposing side with that, and tries to get a shot into power up. That will not connect just yet. So this one will stay neck and neck between these two sides in game number 2. Of course, if Pioneers closes this out, that will be the series. However, SEAL Team 6 trying to send this to a game 3.
I mean, it is an unwritten rule that if you have snipe in your name, you do deserve the sniper. So I can understand why it was given. Camouflage is spotted out here, though. That could have been a big play for SEAL Team 6, but Bohm gets spotted, and that will now allow Pioneers to maybe take advantage with a player advantage here and really push to try and take this fight.
Ooh, Soul Snipe bodies there on Eli Elite, but is not able to clean up. Eli Elite tries to scurry away back pillars, not able to, goes for the no-scope. That'll be the sniper emptied, but Talik will go down to Druck back tower. So still tug-of-war back and forth between these two teams. Really just a 1-kill game. Repulsor comes in for Druck. He'll send Brainstorm off, but Druck makes sure to also trade out that kill. As we'll jump back into the action now. Manny up top tower, forced to drop down.
Just dipping his toes, having a little swim, but unfortunately that will result in his death, and it really does show how prioritizing the repulsor can be important on this map. Several different areas you can shoot someone off to one side and gain a kill because of it. But when Pioneers were down by a few kills, I was thinking, okay, maybe SEAL Team 6 going to take us to a game 3 here, but slowly but surely, control starting to be gained now by the Pioneers. They are marauding the map as a unit and making things very difficult for SEAL Team 6 to find any sort of structure.
Just like that now, 37-35, 2-kill game. And as quickly as we say that, a few kills do get exchanged for the side of SEAL Team 6. So this one's certainly not over just yet. Flying across top middle is Talik, wants to waste no time. Now going to fly in Big Door, a perfect slide in there, waiting to see any opponents, but doesn't find anyone just yet. Going to sit back at house, eyes on the power-up now, Gaskin.
Yeah, Sniper and Camo coming up at the same time, and the first kill is going to be massive here. 2 kills have gone in favor of SEAL Team 6, but that one from Talik allowed them to gain a little bit of control of the camouflage area. The camo, if it can be combined with the heat wave, could be the difference maker to actually win this game. I mean, I've seen people go on 5 to 10 kill sprees when you've got that kind of utility.
Certainly now, Heatwave in the hands of Eli Elite. What will he do here? 1-kill game, 39-38 on the scoreboard. Finds 1, does not trade. Might get 2 as well. Able to do it. A third player does kill him, but it's a big double kill from Manny. Sniper and Heatwave down on the scoreboard door. You can be sure these teams are going to start to prioritize that as well.
41-41 as everything slows down a little bit here on live fire. Both teams recognizing that one mistake could lead the other team to gain a little bit of momentum, and that's going to be the camouflage going down for SEAL Team 6 again. They got the camo Bravo, but they're just not able to make the plays with it.
Like you said, that camo could have been a big factor. It's neutralized, though, by Talik on those pillars. So now Talik, off of the respawn, has to win this battle against piles of pillars, or at the very least stay alive bottom middle. Is able to scurry away just like that here in this tie game. Sniper in the hands of Manny, tries to connect on Nest, but not finding anything just yet. Will rotate sandbags.
Yeah, I feel the rest of the team need to allow Manny to do some work here, but the aggression from SEAL Team 6 coming through at exactly the right time to give them a 2-kill lead, make it a 1-kill lead. This one's going right down to the wire, brother.
Pile's able to hit there on the body shot, however, will not be cleaned up just yet. We'll have to see if the teammate at window is able to make something happen, but just like that, 46-45, 47-45 in favor of SEAL Team 6, trying to force this to a game number 3. Heatwave is out, gonna find Druck and see if he can connect with these shots. It's a 2-shot, there's Soul Sniper around the corner as well. This should be it. Yes, indeed, 50-49, 50-45. SEAL Team 6 closes it out with a Game 2 victory, and they will force us, Dan, to what you and I, as general fans of Halo Infinite, were looking for. It's going to be a game number 3.
All the neutrals will be delighted that we're going to a Game 3. However, if you are fans of the Pioneers, you'll be wondering how they didn't manage to 2-0 SEAL Team 6 here. But it shows the amount of raw talent that's available throughout North America here, that even though SEAL Team 6 are, quite considerably further down the seeding list, the individual talent offered means that in a Slayer game, they can go toe-to-toe with Pioneers. They look completely off the pace when it came to strongholds and it came to an objective, but here in Slayer, they looked like they were fine at home, they were winning their battles, and unfortunately for the Pioneers, they weren't able to really gain that control. And even though I thought it was going to be a very fast-paced game going in favor of Pioneers, I'm delighted to say that SEAL Team 6, they do tie it up, and we are going to a Game 3.
They did step it up. Talik and Brainstorm, your standouts there in terms of KD and KDA. Talik goes 14-8, and Brainstorm 12 and, Talik goes 14-11, and Brainstorm there 12-8. We'll go ahead and take a look at some replays in just a moment, but like you said, if you're a fan of more Halo Infinite, which we certainly are, we're going to a game number 3 between these squads, and it's the first time really in Halo Infinite that we're seeing at these earlier rounds in the tournament that we're going to a game 3 more often. But let's take a look at some highlights in that game. As you said, Dan, we didn't maybe see the aggression and coordination we expected out of Pioneers in this game 2.
No, and I feel like they weren't able to get the kills at the right time either. When Camouflage was coming up, SEAL Team 6 always seemed to be the team who managed to get 2 or 3 down and pick the Camouflage up because of it. And even though several times when we jumped on board with the Camouflage player, they were killed or they weren't able to really make a big play to change things, just getting the Camouflage can sometimes be the big difference, because the other team is naturally going to retreat a little bit, they're going to play a little bit scared, and that can allow the rest of your team to actually push up, gain priority positions, and make it very difficult for the other team once they do take down that Camouflage. So even though the camo didn't necessarily do the individual work, it was about what the rest of the team were able to achieve because that Camouflage was making the other team actually drop off.
Yeah, pretty strong final push there from Brainstorm. He had help, as you see, in the back there, and even though Druck did not make it easy, it's a double kill to close it out.
Around the community right now.
And that's right, we were taking a look at the bracket as we mentioned earlier. The winner of this will play Inconceivable, so that will be a match to watch for sure. Of course, Snipedown and crew will see what they're capable of on the Inconceivable side. But before then, we got to find out who's going to win this series. Once again, Pioneers versus SEAL Team 6. Pioneers, as a reminder, coming in with your 3rd place overall in North America. Would be quite an upset if we saw SEAL Team 6 take this. We're jumping into game number 3 right now.
It really would be a fall from grace, Bravo. But you'd imagine now this is an objective game that Pioneers will be a little bit more comfortable. They should be able to find the structure that they've been able to practice on over the last couple of weeks and what we've seen in previous games in Opens. Whereas for SEAL Team 6, they've got to make sure they keep up with Pioneers when it comes to slays, and that's all 4 down. SEAL Team 6 with a starting strategy which will allow them to get slightly on top here.
They will be the first ones on the board for a moment. It was 2v2, but those last 2 kills do come in, as you mentioned, for the side of SEAL Team 6. That's going to give them a little bit of early control, and we'll see exactly what they do with this back tram hold and if they're ready to drop and shoot. I think one thing we're going to be expecting to see as spike grenades do come in, going to need to be careful, and finally we'll take him down. That's going to be a kill from top Balk coming in for Manny, as here comes the Pioneers push.
Certainly becomes a very messy game when it's a tram hold, a station hold with the oddball. There's so many areas you can just get funneled into, so many chokes where grenades can be thrown to stop people from pushing through. But you can't hold with a stalker rifle like this. Manny just putting some damage to really allow the team to stay alive, and I don't know how he stayed alive there, Bravo.
I have no idea either. As you can see, actually, he still has a teammate in the back of his base. He hasn't cleaned up all of them just yet. I think we're all wondering how he might still be alive, and surprised to see players at both the back door and the front door, and those are not friendly neighbors. They're going to finally try to finish him off. Manny will finally go down, but not without putting up quite a fight and putting a few points on the board for Pioneers, so they answer back. It's going to be Talik picking up another kill as well, and as you can tell by the grenades, their priority is to clean out the back of this tram base. There's no way you're going to be able to get a hold with players in the back of the base. I think they're going to realize that they've finally done that after this last kill and maybe look to grab some time.
I feel like the Observer's going to have his work cut out coming into this game, because there's going to be so many grenades causing deaths here in Station, but the next 5 seconds very important. Those rockets are coming up, and that could be 2 kills guaranteed, or it could be 4 kills if you actually play your cards right. You need to focus it, but you also need to prioritize ball time at the same time.
Yeah, here now comes Brainstorm. Also, Bohm is going to be the one that does grab the rocket. Still has 1 left. Also going to check B Street, and also Red Room very quickly. Sees no one coming from B. Instead, going to rotate the ball back. That will be an extension of the lead for the side of SEAL Team 6. As we said, Pioneers on the standings, the heavy favorite in this game, but SEAL Team 6 making a run of this. And here's the question. On the rotates and the drop and shoot, it's a nice rocket onto B stairs. An easy one. He'll drop front C as well, looking to get 2. Also challenging on C stairs. This should be continued hold. It's a nice use of the thrust and a cleanup. And some shots on the body from Bohm. They will continue scoring here.
SEAL Team 6 starting to feel themselves a little bit. Maybe they smell an upset on the cards. And I think playing this in Tram is the perfect strategy. Pioneers will want this ball over towards the A tower. They will want to play this a little bit more structured, but SEAL Team 6 are forcing Pioneers out of their comfort zone. They're making them push off spawn, sometimes one by one. I feel like frustration starting to kick in a little bit here for Pioneers.
Little Sentinel Beam action coming in on the B stairs. Maybe a little bit of insult to injury on the back of PD. Shotgun is out, and that will be a kill from Piles on Soul Snipe towards the back of the base. So continued control and momentum coming in for SEAL Team 6. They will continue the tram hold, but the spikers and the frags do a whole lot of damage on the ball carrier. As we said, it's going to be a messy back base hold here. Pioneers will be the ones to come in. They only have 1 dead, but they're going to get a little bit of time here.
Nice drop of the ball just to make sure that now this Bulldog can be utilized to full effect. It really can be the difference maker if you hold it correctly, but Pioneers at least are starting to put some points on the board now. But SEAL Team 6 playing it a little bit more patient, but from behind arrives Struck, really being a nuisance. Pioneers just spreading themselves out to make sure that SEAL Team 6 can't push as a 4 together successfully.
Here's the, ooh, look at the nade on Balk, does not kill Manny. He's so weak, but he stays alive. And what a big play it was to continue controlling in the back tram. He's gonna have to rotate to help. He's able to clean up that 1 shot as well. Bulldog comes out, but gonna find a drop shield. Nice work from Brainstorm there to give him some options on how he might want to be challenging in that situation. Gonna be a little bit of time and a rocket grab for Pioneers. They're looking to turn this one around.
Yeah, the rocket grab could be really big here. But you can see how Druck reluctant to push out. There should be a double kill, which it will. And now he just needs to retreat and gets to the rest of the team. Don't be too greedy here. You're a little bit vulnerable. You're a little bit weak. Play your player advantage. Go and help that ball. Try and secure a little bit of a setup here to get closer to winning this first round.
Absolutely. Now Pioneers also playing a little bit of an advantage here, and as soon as they get 1 or 2 dead, they're starting to get ball time and then just right away start to put points on the board. I like what I'm seeing, though. They'll lose that battle over at the B stairs, so they'll need to be careful here.
Nice movement from Manny, recognizing that he was under a bit of pressure there and playing it. I think playing the ball, even though it's not, you know, your normal way of playing the ball where you're throwing it off the map, just putting it into an area where it's difficult for the other team to pick it up, where they're vulnerable to grenades, is extremely important. And that's where we'll see the best teams really recognizing those moments and playing it accordingly.
Certainly, and we talked a lot about this early SEAL Team 6 lead, and that really has been reduced to just a small margin here as Pioneers has answered back quite handily. They've not only been able to get some ball control, but also really established some slaying control as well. However, SEAL Team 6 certainly wants to do something about that, still maintaining control back tram. However, no ball time recently.
Soul Snipe able to pick up that ball. You've got to have someone on the team who is prepared and brave enough to sometimes put themselves in those vulnerable spots to get that ball time, because even though it's just a couple of seconds, those can be the difference makers to between winning a round or not winning a round. But Piles is looking to try and stop this ball time as quick as possible, but needs support from the rest of the team.
He really does, and that's some of the really frustrating moments here, and the teams that are the best at rotating will make it so difficult for you and your team to grab ball time. Pile's going to be sweeping in here. They will get another kill. They will clear out the back of PD and start to score once again. That will be a little bit of time for them, but they know that off the respawn, they're going to have to worry about these pushes coming up from B.
And worry about rockets, but it looks like Brainstorm and Manny are the 2 players close enough to actually get them. Brainstorm does throw some grenades, but there needs to be assistance from the rest of the team to ensure that these rockets can be grabbed and used to full effect. But another demonstration of teams not just jumping aimlessly onto rockets as the perfect comes out. Pioneers starting to heat up in all different angles.
Oh, right there. Soul Snipe actually tries to get a great kill in PD, but surprisingly goes for the ball pull. Was not aware that the rockets might have been pulled. Could have challenged Eli Elite in maybe a different way there. Eli Elite's going to come away with the rockets and a hold here in the tram. Actually not able to clean up that kill on tires. So a little bit of a surprising scenario back and forth in the back, and the battle will still be focused around PD in the back right corner.
Again, when the ball is being held in PD, it can be very messy, it can be full of grenades, but only 5 points remaining here for Pioneers to win round 1. Unless SEAL Team 6 spam some nades and get some success, which they do not, it will mean Pioneers go 1 up here and will be 1 round away from winning this entire series, Bravo. But SEAL Team 6 really are taking it to the Pioneers.
They are, and I think it was all SEAL Team 6 over the first course of the first 4 minutes of that game, and it really was all Pioneers in the second half of that one, and they never really looked back. If you take a look at the kills from that first game, if you happen to glance at the scoreboard, there really were quite a few on the board in favor of SEAL Team 6 because they outslayed so heavily early on, but Pioneers, once again, just using their objective prowess to win that one pretty handily. Druck does well to not waste the rocket, stay alive on B stairs.
Druck has no idea where he was getting shot from then, just turned around in a panic, but it was crazy. He was able to pick up rockets so free. We talk about starting strategies, and now you can benefit from them, not wasting the double rocket again, really knowing that he can whip out his BR, he can do the damage, and saving that rocket because he knows how much of a difference this one rocket could make to the game.
It's a great point. I think a lot of players in that situation might have been panicked to just shoot that rocket off the wall, secure the kill. Instead, he's patient, he's confident in himself, just like you said, knew the timing of the BR swap and able to get another kill on the board. Interestingly, though, despite the slaying prowess and the success they've had in the slaying department, only 3 points on the board yet.
Yeah, and the ball gets reset, but at least now they can gain a little bit of control, and they're going to have to bring it over towards Station and try and set up. They know there's a few members of SEAL Team 6 over towards Red Room, so if they can position Druck here with the Bulldog inside of Station, they're going to make it so difficult for SEAL Team 6 to break through, because any angle they push through, Druck might be there, and he is there.
Druck is a one-man show right now. Perfect grenades coming in from that C balk onto B pillars, able to pick that one up. Also wins the C stairs battle, even with a thrust, kills Bohm in the back of the base as well, taking down 3 players almost single-handedly in those scenarios. Great work from Druck in the back of the base, and still a few points on the board here, but maybe not as many as Pioneers would have liked throughout these opening exchanges.
Druck just gaining so much information from audio cues there. He heard one player sliding down the ramp, and he did not hesitate to push and use that Bulldog to his advantage. All 4 dead. Rockets coming up in 5 seconds as well. If Pioneers get hold of these, SEAL Team 6 aren't in a position to stop them. This one might start to spiral out of control.
2 players at tires, 1 player bottom A. Manny and crew looking if they do have the opportunity for that rocket grab. As you said, that's where all eyes will be in this respawn moment here. Bulldog still out, Piles not going to be able to get away, and rockets are still up. That's going to be what looks to be a free grab from Manny. Help is on the way with that Bulldog battle. They're going to be a little bit delayed, but they will get rockets in hand, already crossing that halfway point. Look at the perfect juggle of the Bulldog, and rockets coming back home in the back of the base.
Yeah, just these little details, just something that you need to work on as an individual player to always make sure you know how to juggle things effectively, how to move weapons across the map, how to prioritize weapons as well. Even though at the very professional level they seem somewhat standard, but they can make the difference between, you know, amateur players and professional players.
We didn't get an eye on exactly who might have picked up the rockets in the end. You have to think it was a player of the Pioneers there that was not on screen. We'll have to see, though, because Soul Snipe just trying to figure out what he wants to do around C. Valk knows the players are going to be coming in from B. Tall is just waiting on the dumpster. Should be able to get this kill as well. And just a huge margin. And Pioneers making to look very quick work of this game number 3, Gaskin.
3 dead, but the ball is in a vulnerable spot. 2 grenades off spawn, and of course Talek is not going to want to just throw these rockets away and push for that ball unnecessarily. So they are going to wait one more time, one more push from SEAL Team 6, try and slay out before they go again. But off the spawn, SEAL Team 6 have actually done a job, and they have managed to find frags. Talek not getting 1 single kill with the rockets there.
It's surprising there. You can see Talek just a little bit panicked, wanted to maybe get onto a higher ledge, wanted some better angles. I think in the end he does enough damage there to push the side back, but certainly, like you said, would have wanted to get a little bit more kills on the board there. Take a look at Piles and Eli Elite. They're still at Tram, and they are worried about this game right now. Already down by 1 round and down by a huge margin in this, but they are once again scoring and looking to make a run here to try to force this game to a round 3.
They are scoring, and they do have a decent amount of time left as well. Still over 2 minutes left on the clock, so they don't have to panic just yet. And with the Bulldog in hand, Elo Elite taking down Soul Snipe, this now means that they can really dominate Station. They can do exactly what Pioneers did to them. Every single time someone pushes through any sort of these chokeholds, you get the Bulldog onto one of those corners and you dominate it. But great from Pioneers to push in from several angles and make it awkward for the Bulldog player.
Yeah, Eli Elite did very well there to drop front C, and lucky for him, there was no angles from the other side. Pops back up, gets another kill on Druk. However, SEAL Team 6 now a lot of pressure because you're looking at a B stairs and C hold from Pioneers. They will continue scoring, and now really just a few points left before they close this one out.
Yeah, you'd imagine now if SEAL Team 6 go 3 or 4 down, it's going to be all she wrote. Pioneers 98, 99, tick up to 100, and Pioneers continue their success here in the HCS tournament. It was 4th place in week 1, it was 3rd place in week 2. Dare I say it, could they start to maybe believe about getting a top 2 finish here in this kickoff qualifier? There's a long way to go just yet, but they do get that one step further.
That certainly will be what they set their sights on and their eyes on here. They'll close out that series 2-1. SEAL Team 6 making it interesting in the Slayer, but when you really take a look at the scores of the objective, it's clear that Pioneers handily wins in that category. They will advance on, as we said, our number 3 ranked team in North America and probably the least talked about team in the top 8. They're looking to really silence the critics and show that they belong not only as part of that top 8 conversation, but they are a top 3 team looking to continue that run, maybe even place top 2 this week. That is the question. Can they continue that trajectory? Gaskin, your thoughts on if they showed us enough that they have that caliber of play in this week's event?
I'll always be worried when a Slayer is lost against a team that is that much lower than them in the seedings, but I think that was more of a credit of how SEAL Team 6 played rather than actually on the other side for them playing badly. So I think they've shown enough that they can push for top 4 once more and top 3 again. I still don't think they're quite on the level of Cloud9 and Optic just from what I've seen in that series, but at the same time you can only play against what you're actually facing against. I think until we see them against the likes of Optic, against the likes of Cloud9, then we won't really know just how they're playing in this week's tournament. But there's a brief glance at the statistics there for you. I think it was a very solid game from Pioneers. I think they'll be impressed with how they were able to manage